Hola y bienvenidos to this week's astrology forecast. I'm Auri Solares and we are going to be discussing the transits taking place from Marzo the 22nd through to the 28th. This is a week that has very serious undertones, but it is ultimately to our benefit and very constructive if we work with these energies appropriately. We start off Sunday the 22nd with the Sun in Aries making a conjunction to Neptune in Aries. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward just a little bit to mention that while this is the exact aspect, it is going to ripple throughout the week along with the Sun being in a conjunction to Saturn and a sextile to Pluto in Aquario. So these exact aspects will take place throughout different days of the week, but just know that these energies are really just in communication with us for this entire time. So on Sunday, the Sun in Aries making that conjunction to Neptune in Aries, this is a moment where our sense of identity and our sense of exploration of the self and our personality and how we move forward is connecting very deeply with our dreams for the future, our hopes, what inspires us, what lights a fire for us, and where our belief systems have been based on, what our spiritual and mystical beliefs are. This is an opportunity for us to work with these energies in a very creative and innovative way, because this is an influence that hasn't happened in a very long time since we are exploring the beginnings of Neptune in Aries and the Sun freshly ingressed here. The next couple of years of the Sun meeting Neptune in our Aries house are going to really highlight for us how we take ownership and leadership of our dreams and what it is that we feel intuitively and spiritually inclined towards. Now, Aries likes to move hot and fast. It likes to take action and be at the front of the line and really be in that leading edge position. And Neptune, as dreamy and whimsical and fantastical as it is, also is disorienting. It is also a fog. It is also confusion. And so there is a warning here to not go too fast. Do your best to resist the impulse to take immediate action on something. Try to temper your movements towards a dream or a major life decision. Neptune's fog is going to limit our ability to see far into the future in our Aries section of our chart. So as an example, let's say you have Aries in the 9th house and you want to sell everything and move abroad because you have this beautiful vision and idea of what your life would look like, but you don't have a plan set. You maybe have not been cultivating the resources that you need to before a major change, and there's no concrete steps on how this is going to work out. You just want to get there already. That's an example of getting really grounded about what your dreams are, recognizing that this dream is valid. I have a right to this dream and I owe myself and I have the responsibility of making sure that this is not going to be destructive in the long term. I have a responsibility to myself to take the steps and the actions necessary for this to be a viable path forward. And so there could be a bit of a bubble that might pop, especially this week with the Saturn influences, but it is a good thing because we don't want to spend any more time or resources going towards a fantasy that is not rooted in reality or is not practical and that would have been harmful in the long run. We want to come back down to earth and maybe reorganize our plan forward, reorganize our strategy, give more discipline and structure and commitment to what it is that we want to achieve in the long term so that it does help us step into this leadership position. And a big part of being a leader, with the Sun in Aries is about knowing when to strike and knowing what is realistic and what is the moment that separates, oh, I'm really passionate about this thing, with I know I have to spend a committed amount of time mastering this. Because Neptune is very spiritual and mystical, if you find that you are finding a new community that is centered around religion or spiritual beliefs, you might find that you have a very strong sense of belonging or identity there. Just be mindful that it is not a cult, or that you are not then pushing your beliefs onto others, because that can be a symptom of very enthusiastic Aries Neptune energy. On Monday the 23rd, Mercury in Pisces will make a conjunction to the North Node. This is interesting on multiple levels because there are two cycles that are coming to a close here. For one, this is Mercury's third and final pass with the North Node since its retrograde station and since the beginning of its retrograde back in February. So what is it that has really activated for you in your Pisces area of your chart? What communications, information, ideas, and conversations have taken place for you that are on the side of compassion, of community and oneness, of creativity and artistry, of dreams and the unseen, and of our psychic realms and our psychic faculties? The North Node is an abundance of something here. It is an open chapter. And with Mercury's conjunction here, something is being finalized, a conversation is being had that really ties in the whole retrograde story together. But not just that, because the North Node is going to leave Pisces July 29th, about there, 2026. And so Mercury is actually not going to make a conjunction to the North Node in Pisces for a very long time. This is really closing up that chapter as well. And so over the last 2.5 years of this nodal cycle between Pisces and Virgo, what has started? What major beginnings have taken a foot in the Pisces area of your chart? Maybe you have Pisces in the 4th house and you moved into a new home, and these last few years have involved you looking for the property, buying it, getting situated. And now that the North Node is leaving this summer, it is not that you are going to move again or anything. It's more like the continued momentum of this chapter having been opened, now steadying into something long-term and consistent up until these houses get activated for us again. Two different storylines kind of conclude here. And what I would say is pay attention to your dreams on Monday the 23rd. Pay attention to any conversations that you're having at this time and really see what insights and what inspirations land on your lap for you to add to this new area of your life that has likely blossomed and really opened up with the eclipses that have taken place here. On Wednesday the 25th, the Sun in Aries makes a conjunction to Saturn in Aries and a sextile to Pluto in Aquario, revisiting that energy that we spoke to from Sunday the 22nd. There is an energy here that is interweaving our dreams, our spirituality, our mysticism, and our fantasies for reality and for the future with limitations, restrictions, boundaries, commitment, responsibility, and our sense of empowerment and our transformation on this journey. There is likely going to be a moment in your life this week where you realize that something that you thought or something that you were aspiring to or working towards is not going to happen exactly as you envisioned. That will demand that you yourself, or maybe an external system, enter into your life to impose restriction, limitations, structure, boundaries, and it will require a sense of commitment to following that path forward and to seeing it through a more structured, disciplined lens, which is not always fun, especially since Saturn is in Aries. It doesn't always want those limitations there. Aries wants to be free to roam and move about, and it doesn't easily welcome external boundaries or external structures. So if you find that these limitations or this more disciplined energy coming into your life is not born of you, but it's actually coming from someone else or something else, try to see it from the lens of, this is likely necessary in order for me to learn something about my creative process or this journey that I'm in at large. Even if I don't understand it now, even if it feels frustrating that I can't quite move how I was moving, which let's be real, in Aries can sometimes be a bit reckless, and throw Neptune into the mix and you are cruising for a bruising, very likely, especially if you're going 80 on a foggy highway, right? You don't know what's up ahead, but you're going fast because you feel like everything will be okay. And Saturn is that police car waiting on the side of the road and pulling you over and saying, you do know that there's like an accident up ahead, right? You were about to absolutely crash into it. That's a very literal, specific analogy, but that could paint the picture of how these planetary energies are going to start entering into our life. It's going to be a little bit different from person to person. It might not always be that you're going to be restricted or limited, but more so maybe you might have to take a very real step towards commitment towards a project, a relationship, a person, a financial venture. It can really look any which kind of way. The point is that you are being asked to take something more seriously than you have before if you want to pioneer in that field, if you want to be leading edge in that area of your life and of your industry or your relationships in this moment. This can be very transformational. This can be uncomfortable and will likely bring up our hidden fears or even a sense of death of our old self as we transform into this new version of self. But that is empowering and that is necessary as we traverse through life. This is the sun in Aries making a sextile to Pluto in Aquario. And so there is likely going to be something old dying here, maybe an old way of moving through the world, an old version of yourself that can't go with you into the new, maybe a system or even a project having to fall and die away as you get really real about a bubble bursting and you saying, okay, I need to pivot and conjure up a new way to reach this goal, reach this milestone. And that is constructive. That is helpful to who we are as people, because if we're not challenging ourselves or not leaning into challenge with even just curiosity, then there's no growth for us there. And if you're not growing as a human on this earth, then chances are you are missing out on a lot of beauty, a lot of beautiful realizations about who you are, of your potential, of your capacity, and what you are capable of doing on this earth. So because the sun is in a sextile to Pluto in Aquario, that means so is Saturn officially. So on Saturday the 28th, Saturn in Aries makes a sextile to Pluto in Aquario. So this is a very, very serious week. Saturn is asking you to take it seriously. This isn't a joke. This is a time to really step into this new position of responsibility or of authority or leadership in a way that is going to transform you. But it's going to not just transform you and your immediate life and your immediate dreams. It's going to likely transform how you impact your community. And this sextile has the opportunity to help us create ripples of inspiration to those that are around us. Oftentimes, when we think of our dreams and of our fantasies of what we want to accomplish, we imagine most immediately our own direct experience, and we seldom consider how that might actually impact the world at large. Think of all of the people that you could inspire. You might even become a mentor or a teacher to a community, and that then continues to ripple outwards and forwards. And that is how change happens on Earth. These dreams that we have don't come from out of nowhere, this unexplained random place. They are seeds planted in our heart, either by our angels or our higher self, or they are simply built into our heart's technology the moment that we are born, because that is a part of our life's purpose. These dreams are not random. Dreams are our birthright. They are what we are meant to achieve. They lead us towards our life's purpose. And so this influence wants you to recognize the seriousness of that, to recognize that that is a very real thing and to not belittle it. On a world stage level, I've not really spoken about any of this on a major world stage level beyond the self. Saturn in Aries is representative of systems, governmental bodies, leaders, and Pluto in Aquario is the people, is communities, is the alien-like force that pulses through the cosmos. And so there might be something here where a governmental body or structure is working with the people or communities or sharing information that is new and unknown that we were not doing prior, that we did not know already. Something that has the power to really shake things up for the better and in a way that will transform a lot of different systems, but also a lot of communities all at once. I want to highlight once more that we've never had these alignments before because Neptune and Saturn in Aries is a new thing. Pluto and Aquario is here to stay. And so this is all like a new door opening for us, and we are walking through the threshold together. However it is that this shows up for you in your life, have as much compassion for yourself and for others right now. This is major change and major shifts in responsibility that will not always come easily. But if we can implement curiosity in how these things show up in our life, as opposed to judgment or harsh self-criticism or harsh external criticism, then that can help us be as open and receptive as possible to the lessons that we are meant to learn at this time and where we are meant to grow and expand. I hope that all of that has made sense. So take this week calmly as best you can, even though the Aries part of our chart wants us to go on that first impulse and to move with that fiery intuition. Try to temper that by releasing that energy into a physical practice, a workout, maybe painting your frustrations of not being able to move faster, or something that helps you stay in alignment with your goals and your visions for the future without jeopardizing them due to a lack of patience. Lean into your creativity, have a lot of curiosity for what shows up this week. Pay attention to the conversations that want to come through, not just on Monday, but all throughout, and know that this is opening for us a new chapter in our reality. And that is something to be excited for and to step into with our full authenticity. The sun is in Aries. Our authenticity takes center stage. Our authenticity is our superpower. And try to not focus so much on what everyone else is doing or what the popular aesthetic might be, or if your aesthetic is perfect. Do what feels natural for you in a way that is responsible and in a way that is structured and disciplined. If you would be interested in a one-to-one reading with me, please feel free to check out audisolares.net. I have numerous consultations on there and I would love to connect with you and talk stars. Otherwise, I will see you next week to talk about next week's astrological transits. Or if you want to tune into the tarot reading for this week of March, I will be uploading the tarot reading for the week separately now. And so you can jump over and see what the symbolism of the tarot has to say for this week ahead. I am sending you mucha magia, mucho amor, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, cuídense.